Hello and welcome to Anthem Daily, the daily show for serious creators. My name is Ian Gareth Hadfield, and I'm coming to you from a sunny but wintry Cape Town. Right, I want to show you something. Pull up your most recent self-tape, or if you don't have one, think of the last time you watched yourself on screen. A video, a reel, anything. Now, watch it back. And this time, and I want you to be honest, which is the hardest part, don't watch it like an actor watching their performance. Watch it like a stranger watching someone they've never met. Take a real second with this, because what you're about to notice is going to be uncomfortable and useful. There will be a moment, maybe several, where you can see yourself thinking about being watched. Not thinking about the scene, not thinking about the other character, not thinking about what your character wants or needs or is afraid of, thinking about how you look while you're doing it. That moment, that specific, identifiable, painfully visible moment, is the thing that we're going to fix today. Because here's what I know about cameras after 40 years of working in the industry. The camera is not a recording device. It is not a witness. It is not a neutral observer passively capturing what you decide to show it. The camera is a lie detector, and it is spectacularly, mercilessly, absolutely good at its job. I'm not going to be poetic about this. I mean it technically. We're going to talk about exactly what the camera catches, how it catches it, and what you can do about it. Let's go. Let's start off with a bit of psychology because this is where it gets interesting. The human face has 43 muscles. 43. And most of them are not under your conscious control. They respond to thought, to emotion, to the actual state of your nervous system, not the state you're trying to perform. In the 1960s and 70s, a psychologist named Paul Ekman spent years cataloging what he called micro-expressions, involuntary facial movements that last a fraction of a second, between 1/15th and 1/25th of a second to be precise, and that reveal what a person is actually feeling, regardless of what they're saying or trying to project. These micro-expressions are not visible to the naked eye in real life, but on a close-up, on a 4K camera, on the kind of equipment that every professional production is using right now, they are visible. Just sit with that for a moment. The camera can see what your seeing partner cannot. Things that happen faster than conscious thought, the camera knows. And it's not just the face. It's the breath, the rate of blinking, the almost imperceptible tension in the jaw, the slight shift in how you're holding your shoulders, the micro movement of your eyes when you're about to say something you haven't fully committed to. All of it. The camera sees all of it. So when I say the camera is a lie detector, this is the mechanism. It is not metaphorical. It is the literal, biological, physical reason why psychological truth on camera is not optional. It is not a nice to have. It is the entire ballgame. There is a school of thought that says you can technique your way out of this problem, that if your external choices are strong enough, the camera won't notice what's happening internally. I respectfully disagree, and so does the camera. In my experience, and I have sat in the chair opposite a great many actors in 40 years, there are three things actors hide on camera. Three specific, identifiable, extremely common things. The first is self-consciousness. the awareness of being watched, the monitoring function that runs in the background of almost every actor's performance until they train it out of themselves. You can see it as a kind of glazing, a quality of the eyes that tells you the actor is slightly outside the scene, managing the impression they're making rather than fully inside it. Audiences can't always name what they're seeing when they see it, but they feel it. They feel the distance between where the actor is and where the actor should be, and it reads as a performance being given rather than a life being lived. This is the single most common problem I encounter. The most technically gifted actors in the room are often the worst offenders because they've learned enough technique to be self-conscious about whether they're using it correctly. The second thing actors hide is uncertainty. They hide the moment where they don't quite know what's happening next, not in the scene, but in themselves. The brief beat where the emotion hasn't fully arrived yet, but they've committed to the action. So they fill it, they push, they indicate. Indicating, for anyone newer to the craft, is the technical term for showing the audience what you're feeling rather than actually feeling it. Performing sadness rather than being sad. Performing anger rather than being angry. It's the acting equivalent of explaining a joke. If you've ever watched a performance and thought, that seemed a bit forced, you were watching, indicating, and the camera hates it. The third thing actors hide is their actual emotional state. This is the subtle one. They arrive on set or in the audition room with whatever is genuinely going on for them that day, nerves, tiredness, excitement, irritation, sadness, and they set it aside. They put it in a box because they've been told that professionalism means arriving with a clean slate. But here's the problem with that. The thing in the box doesn't go away. It sits underneath everything you do and leaks through in exactly the moments you least want it to. And it shows up on camera as a vague sense of something being suppressed. A performance that is almost there, almost real, almost true, but not quite. The actors who've cracked this, the ones whose work genuinely stops you, are not the ones with the cleanest slate. They're the ones who have learned how to use what they actually have, how to take the thing that's going on for them and find a version of it that lives inside the character, how to be in the scene and also in themselves simultaneously. That is not a gift. That is a skill, and it's entirely learnable. Right, the practical section. Here are 4 tools you can take into your very next audition or self-tape. Tool number 1 is the thought before the line. Before every line of dialogue you say on camera, there is a thought, a real one. Not the line itself, not the emotional intention behind it, but the actual cognitive step that produces the words. Most actors skip this step. They go straight to the line. And what you see on camera is an actor producing dialogue, which is exactly what it is. The exercise is this. Take any scene, take any line, and before you say it, every single time, think the sentence that comes just before it. Not out loud, in your head. Let yourself arrive at the words through a real mental process rather than just delivering them. It sounds simple. It is simple. It is also one of the most transformative things you could do to your work if you actually commit to doing it consistently. Try it on your next self-tape and watch what happens. Tool number 2, stillness as a power. There is a reflex that most actors have, particularly in early career, to fill silence with movement, to shift the weight, adjust the posture, gesture with the hands, move the head, because movement feels like energy. It feels like something is happening. On stage, in a theatre, some of this is useful. The audience needs something to look at. On camera, in close-up, that movement is noise. It distracts from the face, and the face, specifically the eyes, is where the audience is trying to read the truth. Some of the most powerful screen moments I have ever witnessed are moments of almost complete stillness. An actor, a camera, a thought. That's it. And it's devastating because you can see every single thing happening inside them. The practice on your next self-tape: film a take where you consciously resist the impulse to move. Keep your weight settled. Let your hands be still and allow the stillness to hold the emotion rather than trying to express it physically. You'll probably hate it on first watch, but do it again. It will start to feel like breathing. Tool number 3, breath as punctuation. The breath is one of the most powerful tools available to you on camera and one of the most consistently ignored. Not the breath work of the voice teacher, the natural, involuntary breath that your body takes before you say something true. In life, we breathe before we speak. The breath is part of the thought. It is the body preparing to express something. In performance, actors frequently hold their breath before a line, or take a controlled technical breath that has no emotional content. And the camera sees this. It sees the difference between a breath that means something and a breath that is simply air management. Next time you're doing a self-tape, run the scene and pay no attention to your breath at all. Just let it do what it does, and you'll be surprised how much life it brings to the pauses. The inhale before a difficult line is often more powerful than the line itself. And tool number 4 is the point of focus. Where you look matters. Not in the sense of always look at your scene partner. You know that. But in the more subtle sense of where exactly your eyes go when you're thinking, feeling, deciding. In life, when we're processing something emotionally complex, our eyes move. They go somewhere specific, sometimes up and to the right when we're constructing a thought, sometimes down when we're accessing a feeling, sometimes straight ahead into the middle distance when we're overwhelmed. Look, these are not universal rules. Everyone's eye movements are their own, but they are consistent within a person. And they are one of the primary ways that audiences read interiority on camera. Whereas an actor's eyes are fixed, glazed into the middle distance stare they've decided represents emotional depth, the camera sees a closed door. When an actor's eyes are genuinely moving in response to thought, the camera sees a living interior. So, here's the exercise. Run a monologue and don't control your eye focus at all. Let it go where it goes. Uncomfortable? Good. That discomfort is usually authenticity announcing itself. I hope that was useful to you. So let's move on to the game. Hot take or hard pass? Ready? Self-tape auditions are actually harder than auditioning in the room. Comment yes if you agree. Hard pass if you think I'm wrong. I'll make my case in a second. The case for yes, self-tapes are harder. In a live audition, you have the room. You have the casting director's energy, their responses. They laugh when you say something that lands. They're leaning in when they're interested. You have the other actors to play with, the actual physical space, the pressure of the moment working for you rather than against you. In a self-tape, you have a camera and a tripod, a wall you've been staring at for 3 takes, and a reader who's doing you a favor and is also clearly thinking about what they're making for dinner. You have to generate all of the energy yourself. You have to be fully present in an environment that has absolutely no presence. You have to make the camera believe that something real is happening when you are objectively standing in your bedroom talking to a lens. That is a specific and extraordinarily demanding skill, and it's not taught enough. So the case against the hard pass is that live auditions are harder. Look, in a live audition, you have one shot. You can't retake. If the energy isn't right on the day, if you're ill, if you got stuck in traffic and arrived sweating, that is the performance they see. Full stop. The self-tape gives you infinite retakes. You can choose your best version. You control the environment, the framing, the lighting. You can eat beforehand. You can warm up for as long as you need. The pressure is entirely different. I think I prefer the live room. When I think about the pressure that you have to deliver in the live room, it kind of brings out the best in you. Sometimes I see people being very laissez-faire with their self-tapes and sort of just just delivering something and not really spending the same amount of time in preparation that they would do if they were going into a live room. So to be honest, I think self-tapes are really hard. And just to give you a little heads up, we spend a lot of time talking about self-tapes in our Becoming an Actor 2026 course, and I'd encourage you to investigate that and see if that's something you would like to do. So, moving along, I'm going to pose a question and I'm going to invite you to respond below. Send me your comments. I read all of them and I want to hear what you've got to say. And the question I'd like to ask is, what is the one thing on camera that you know you do, but you can't seem to stop doing? Tell me about it below, and perhaps I can help you. I might even do a whole episode to try to assist you with that. So, the camera sees everything you hide, not as a threat, not as a reason to be more controlled or more careful or more calculated about what you show it, as an invitation. The camera sees everything you hide, which means if you stop hiding it, the camera will show something you actually are. And what you actually are, complicated, contradictory, imperfect, human, is precisely what audiences come to the cinema for. It is precisely what casting directors are looking for when they sit through 100 self-tapes, hoping one of them will be the one. You be the one. Tomorrow on Anthem Daily, and this is one you do not want to miss, we're talking about how to make the industry know your name. Not just for actors, for anyone building a brand, growing a business, trying to become something that matters. Strategic visibility. So social media that actually works. The tools that people who are getting seen are quietly using while everyone else waits to be discovered. And I've got some thoughts on that, as usual. See you there. This is Anthem Daily, and I am Ian Gareth Hadfield. The camera is watching it, so show it something real.